Things just got worse and worse and worse as the night went on. Again, valiant effort down the stretch for the Bucks. Just too little, too late. Let's go down and let's see what Coach Fletch and the rest of the crew has to say. And as always, go Bulls. So let's head into the locker room right now and see what the guys have to say about that one. Wow. Where do the Buccaneers go from here? What an incredible atmosphere. What a good win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They snapped a 7-game winning streak. How we feeling, Bucs Nation? It's time to party, baby. What is going on, everybody? We are back. Welcome to the Recher podcast. Hope everybody is having a wonderful day. It is Thursday, August 7th. I was a little bit under the weather yesterday, but I am back, baby, and I'm ready to roll, and I hope you are too. So if you hear me a little hoarse or I got some, it's okay. You got to make sure that you take care of yourself. Sometimes I burn the candle at both ends, and it comes back to bite me in the ass, but we're good. We're good, and we're ready to roll. What a show we have for you today. Things are hot and heavy over at the Advent Health Training Center at One Buccaneer Place today. The joint practice between the Buccaneers and the Titans. My goodness, what the hell is going? Every time you kind of load your Twitter back up and you say, "Oh well, this guy threw a punch at this guy." Titans wide receiver Alec Aomanor throws a punch at Bucks DB JJ Roberts after he deflects a ball in close coverage. Just craziness going on at the joint practice today over at the Advent Health Training Center at One Buccaneer Place. Thank you all for the love and support. Our guy Chan Leonard. Get well soon. Missed you yesterday. Thank you, my friend. If you want to join via the super chat, thank you very much, Chan. Every little bit helps. $1, $2, $5, $10, $20. And then the obligatory smash that like button. Kill that like button if you can, because every little bit helps on the program. Every little bit helps when it comes to the super chats, and also our sponsor, our main sponsor, our guy Honest Hammer Custom Builders LLC. 813-244-0956. You can scan the QR code right there or go to thehonesthammer.com. And because of our guy, The Honest Hammer, we've got some Buccaneers tickets to give away today on the program for the preseason opener Saturday night over at Raymond James Stadium between your Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Tennessee Titans. We're going to let everybody know in about 3 minutes what you have to do to be eligible to win those tickets so you can be in the building. Yeah, a lot of great stuff. A lot of great stuff going on today. Just looking to see if there's just so much going on today. Practice went until 12:10. It sucked being able to leave or having to leave. But hey, you got to do. Shout out to our guy, Eric Moreno. One of those days, bro. You stay strong, my friend. You stay strong. Our guy, Dolan, what's up, Jay? Appreciate everybody out there. And again, a big thank you to Chan Leonard with the super chat. You are the best, Chan. Thank you very, very much. Stay strong, Eric. Stay strong, my friend. All right. So what else do we have on the show today? 12:30. Matt Grothe is going to join us on the program. USF Hall of Famer, USF legend. He's going to join us on the program. What did he see from USF practice? He was out there yesterday. What does he think about the Bulls' upcoming season? Byron Brown, now healthy going into the 2025 season. Bryce Archie, not going to be with the program anymore. He's choosing the baseball route. And what did he get from a guy like Alex Golish when he was there at practice yesterday? So the legend, the USF Hall of Famer, Matt Grothe, will join us at 12:30 later on today. Also at 12:50, Rays win the series against the Los Angeles Angels. Griffin Jax has been really good since he's come across via the trade with the Minnesota Twins. But there's something about Griffin Jax, something about him, where I'm watching him and I go, I think we're missing something. We're missing something when we're talking about Griffin Jax. We'll get into that at 12:50 today. At 1 o'clock, our guy Josh Queipo is going to join us on the program from Pewter Report. He's there right now. He was supposed to join us at 12:30 yesterday. I moved it back to 1 o'clock because practice was going until 12:10, and then we have a bunch of press conferences coming up with Todd Bowles and all. So I said, man, don't rush out of there at 12:30. take your time, get all the press conferences, go to your car, and then you can chat with us at 1 o'clock today. So Josh Queipo, Pewter Report, joins us at 1 p.m. There's our guy, Honest Hammer, Fire the Cannons, Dan Wedding, getting in the way of football. Good for your listeners. You got that right. Our listeners, buddy. Got that right. DT, David Terry in the house, Bart Hill as well. I appreciate you all. Again, follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Oh, that might be part of the gig to win these tickets. Bear with me today. I'm going to have to take a lot of drinks to keep to be able to keep talking. Thank God that I got two guests coming on today, so I don't have to do all the talking on the program. But man, there's just some crazy stuff going on. Tristan Wirfs trying to get all dialed in, and he wants to fight. Holding his crutches, repeatedly screaming across the field at a Titans player. What are you crying about? You could tell both of these teams were done. They were done practicing against each other. They were just kind of ready, like, all right, let's see somebody else. And right off the bat, these guys have been it's wild. Pretty nuts. Janet Best, hope you get better soon. Thank you so much. I should be okay. Got a big show coming up tomorrow as well. Our friends at For the Bay Clothing, they have a big announcement coming out tomorrow. So Dave Kassasian, the owner of For the Bay, is going to join us. FTB is going to join us on the program tomorrow at 12:45. So what's their big announcement? Make sure you follow them on social media, and then we can go from there. Shout out to Lady Evil. Go Bucks. So excited for football. I know you are, and we are too. All right. Do you want tickets to Saturday night's game between the Bucks and the Titans, courtesy of our friends over at Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC? I'm sure you do. Here's how you can win them. You have to follow me on social media, every platform that you can, at Recher. You have to like and subscribe on YouTube. You also have to follow Honest Hammer on social media. And you also have to pay attention to the two interviews that we have today. So we will be giving away the tickets at 1:30 today. 1:30 on the program. And you're going to have to, by then, subscribe, like, follow me, follow Honest Hammer. And there's also going to be a question about the interview with Matt Grothe at 12:30 and a question from the interview with Josh Queipo at 1 o'clock. And then at 1:30, I'm going to ask the questions. And the only way that you're going to be able to get those tickets is by clicking the link in the chat. You're going to have to join that way. So here's the link now. So if you want to save it for later. But you cannot type it in. You have to join us via the video stream, whether it's on your phone or your laptop. There is the link right there, StreamYard.com/BYFND2 UVYN. Save that link right now, 1:30. You click on that link, you answer the two questions, and you get two tickets to the matchup on Saturday night at Raymond James Stadium between the Tennessee Titans and your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That link will be in the chat. So just click on that link at 1:30, answer the questions, make sure you follow us, and you'll be the winner. Very informative. We're always going to try to get back here on the program. This is the show for the Tampa Bay sports fan right here. We're live and local, the only live and local show at noon every single day, except when you're not feeling too good. But you guys know if I'm not on air that I'm really not feeling good. And when you burn the candle at both ends like I've been doing the last couple of months, man, it just caught up to me. And I felt it. I had a meeting on, what was it, Monday night? Tuesday night? Yeah, Tuesday night. And I came home from that meeting, and I went to go get something, or I went to Walmart to get some drinks to the house. And as soon as I walked in, I feel like I got a little bit of a sore throat. And when you get that scratchiness in your throat, that's when you know, like, oh, man, here it comes. And then overnight, not great. And then I woke up yesterday morning, and I felt like I got hit by a bus. It was crazy. And I've been taking care of myself, too. I don't really drink. I've been eating pretty good. I drink a lot of water, but it happens to me once or twice a year. It usually happens one time in the summer and then one time kind of in the winter. I'm going full bore, man, nonstop. I mean, it really haven't stopped since June when you think about it. Coaching and flying and just doing all these different things. And then Yesterday, it all cut up to me. So I feel much better today. I still am a little bit hoarse, but feel much better today than I did yesterday. And if I wasn't, I wouldn't be here today with you. So again, if you're just joining us and you want a piece, if you want to win those tickets, Buccaneers and Titans Saturday night at Raymond James, make sure you follow me. Make sure you follow my friends at Honest Hammer Custom Builders on all social media platforms. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. And then you have to answer 2 questions. And the questions will derive from our interview at 12:30 with Matt Grothe. And then also our interview with Josh Queipo from Pewter Report at 1 o'clock. So you got to listen throughout the show. I don't expect everybody to listen to every minute of the show, but you got to tune in for the interviews. And then you got to tune in at 1:30, because from there, you click on that link, and I posted it here. It's in the chat. streamyard.com/BYFND2UVYN. You'll click on that link at 1:30. I'll post it again then. And if you can answer those 2 questions, I will send over those tickets to you, and you'll be in the building Saturday nights. All right, let's get to some of the things that I saw today over at the Avenhell Training Center at One Buccaneer Place for the Bucs and Titans joint practice. Just great to be back out there after missing on Wednesday. But you look at 2 teams. These were 2 teams that were pissed off. 2 teams that were just so ready to move on from playing the same old thing. Oh, man, I don't want to see the same guys over and over again. And Todd Bowles even said as much. He was just like, listen, we're doing okay, but I'd be surprised if there wasn't kind of a dust up at some point in camp. And, well, it happened today. And one of the first ones that we saw, and I posted on Twitter, I didn't get the whole thing. Our guy here, you know what? We'll play it for you. My pal Logan Robinson got it. And we've had Logan on the show before from Bucs Game Day. Here it is right here. Okay. Here it is, guys. So it was Cody Mauch and Jeffrey Simmons. And if you know Jeffrey Simmons, he's one of the best players on the Titans defensive tackle. And this guy, he was not happy. Not happy with what happened on this rep. And, you know, Cody Mauch kind of, he kind of owned him in this rep. And here you go right here. Boom. And as we're watching, here we go. Tries to throw off his guardian cap. Boom. Mauch throws him to the ground. And then here's Simmons. Gets up in his face, puts his hand on his cap, and then pushes him back. And that was kind of the first skirmish of the day. And wait. You hear everybody was freaking out after that because it was a it was a big catch from Bucky Irving as well. He looked good. Listen, Bucky's going to struggle in pass coverage, but man, one-on-one and catching the ball out of the backfield, he's going to be a problem. But that was the first dust up of the day between Cody Mauch and Jeffrey Simmons, and I like that. Cody Mauch, not a spring chicken anymore. This is a guy that's been a veteran in this league. We know what it takes. He knows what it takes to be successful in the NFL, and not putting up with any shit with one of the best defensive tackles in the league. So that was like the first kind of like bubbling over of everything. We'll get more to the scraps here in a second. But the other thing that stood out to me was that, and I just mentioned Bucky Irving. So for Bucky, again, he's going to be a factor out of the backfield. But one of the first reps that I saw today was Bucky Irving going against Harold Landry, one of their outside linebackers. And Bucky just did not do a great job of pass protection. And he's not the biggest guy in the world. We know that. It's going to be one of the shortcomings that he has. But this is another reason why when people say, oh, just get rid of a guy like Rashad White. No way. No freaking way. Not a chance. Because the next rep was Rashad against one of their other outside linebackers, and Rashad handled him easily. And this is Rashad trimmed down a little bit to 212, 213. He's just really good at picking up those blitzes. So you need both of these guys on the field, but especially on third down when it's a known passing down, Rashad's going to be in there. And I don't think we should be so quick to write off that dude. Then you saw a couple of nice plays. There was some 7-on-7 action, 11-on-11 action. We saw Baker Mayfield, an interception. It was a tip pass, an interception there. You saw the Titans really not get anything going on the right side of the field, 11-on-11. Cam Ward just kept scrambling out to the right, like there's nobody open here, there's nobody open there. Mike Evans had a really nice grab. It would have been a 20, 30-yard gain. He has been so good this entire camp. It's just been a joy to watch number 13. Also, which was crazy, former Florida State Seminole Jarvis Brownlee, the junior, at some point walked over to the Bucs fans in the stands who were taunting him and had to be restrained by security and Titans coaches. He was not having it. He was not happy whatsoever. Tensions were high. Tensions were high at practice today. Both teams at one point cleared the sidelines for a ball. First team offense for a Bucs and Titans offense. Defensive line got chippy. Bucky Irving slung to the ground, and the entire Bucs sideline went onto the field. Even Tristan Wirfs got on the field with his crutches. He wants to be in there so freaking bad. These two teams were going at it today. And listen, for them, when you look at the Tennessee Titans, you look at the difference between these two teams. I mean, obviously, Tennessee drafted number 1 overall. I mean, the talent disparity on paper is large. It's a wide gap. But I thought Tennessee today, I mean, they rose to the occasion. You can still see the difference in the talent with these two clubs, but I mean, good on Tennessee for making it, it was a back and forth, hotly contested battle today. No doubt about it. First play from Cam Ward in the red zone, a pick by Hassan Reddick. He punted the ball in the air. Vita Vea started dancing. You love to see Hassan Reddick. And that's something that we've been able to glean from Todd Bowles over the first couple of days or the first couple of weeks now in training camp. It's Hassan Reddick and his impact. And it's not just what he can do on the field. It's not just being able to rush the passer. It's his leadership ability. And I've noticed this every day walking out to practice is that Hassan's not just out there by himself. He's not just like, hey, I'm here and I'm a gun for hire. I'm a mercenary. Like this dude is like, he's part of the group. And I don't know if people really anticipated that's the kind of guy he was going to be. He got a lot of bad press and a lot of flack with what happened last year. But again, I said this from the beginning. I'm not necessarily putting what happened last year solely on him. The Jets traded for a guy that wanted a long-term contract. The Eagles weren't going to give him one because the Eagles draft and develop pass rushers probably as good as anybody in the National Football League. And they knew getting older, I mean, they'd just rather go draft a couple of guys. That's just the way that they do it. It's not because they didn't like Hassan Reddick or he didn't contribute. Then he trades him to the Jets, and the Jets are like, yeah, we'll figure it out. And then they didn't figure it out. They just expect them to play. And it's like, what the hell is going on? What is this team? I mean, it's the Jets for you. But when this guy in the past has had a 1-year prove-it deal, and he had to do it, he did it in Carolina. 1-year prove-it deal, signs the deal with the Eagles. I think he's going to do the same thing this year. I'd be very surprised if he didn't get double-digit sacks. And one thing that TJ Reeves, Bucs sideline reporter, said last week on the program, don't write it off that he won't come back here. He's going to try to get a long-term deal. And I'm sure he knows being on the wrong side of 30, it's not going to be a 5-year deal. But if he can get a 3-year deal from the Buccaneers, why not? Why not? It's an audition this year because it's not just him on the field. It's him being a leader off of it. And the Bucs don't play that shit. They just don't. And you can take that off the field when it comes to a guy like Levante David or Mike Evans and what they learned from Tom Brady, right? And they've been able to take that and just continue. And then they pass it down the line. It's not just them, the guys that were already veterans when Tom was here, but Antoine Winfield Jr. and Tristan Wirfs, like they don't know any other way. So I like what I've seen from Hassan Reddick so far, and I wouldn't be surprised now after watching, seeing what he's doing and listen what people have to say. I wouldn't be surprised if this wasn't his only year in Tampa Bay. There was some concern that Mike Evans did catch a touchdown pass and ran right into the locker room. Todd Bowles clarified that he looked good running off the field, but he'll double-check to see if there's something more here since Evans did not return to the field. It was the end of the practice anyway. A lot of people saying, not too much to worry about. Mike is not going to be able to – he's not playing on Saturday night anyway. So if it's a little bit of a hammy, I don't think it's the worst thing in the entire world. So kind of, it is what it is, right, going from there. Let's see. I'm just trying to make sure that I got everything else on here. just I know when you're looking at Todd Bowles, he probably wasn't thrilled with some of the skirmishes at practice anyway. But just that's nature of the beast. Stuff like that is going to come out. Saw Jamel Dean struggle today. Saw him struggle today, getting beat over the top. And I know my buddy Nelly, if he's watching, not a big Jamel Dean fan. And I think his time is coming to a close here with the Buccaneers. Again, I wouldn't be so quick to trade a guy like that unless you're getting a 3rd round or a 4th round pick. But even then, again, life comes at you fast in the NFL. These guys get banged up. And when you look at how well a guy like Benjamin Morrison has played, and when you look at what you have for some of these young guys and playing in the slot with like a guy like Jacob Parrish, or what Zion McCollum could do with his versatility. He's a guy that goes up against Mike. You want to talk about iron sharpening iron. Zion McCollum goes up against Mike Evans every single day and battles his ass off. So I really like what I've seen from Zion over the years, because you remember year 1, he wasn't a great corner, but he was fantastic in special teams and just got better and better and better as the years have gone by. It just shows that he's coachable, and it just shows that there is room for growth. Everybody's not like that. We see that in all sports. We see that in football. We see it in baseball. We see it in hockey. We see it in basketball. When these guys get to that, the final stage, which is playing in the pros. Is that it? Is that room? Is their growth done? For some people, yeah. For some people, they get there and they realize, man, that was, their goal is achieving that pro status. And some of those guys, and we thought this with Jonathan Aranda going into this year, was that could it be a quad A player? Great in AAA, but not good enough for the major leagues. And we call those guys like the 4A and the quad A players. So could we see that in pros where some guys kind of plateau? I mean, we've seen it with a guy like Devin White, right? But I don't think Zion's that guy. He keeps continuously getting better and better. And I think he's a part of this team for years to come. Dean, our wide receiver corps is nothing short of S tier, but he for sure got cooked. Yeah, and when you can have, maybe he's one of your guys that's, that's the thing, is as much as people like, oh, get rid of him. Well, if he's in there or if he's not in there, his trade value is going to go down, right? But we saw last year when this team got banged up, we had different guys that were surefire special teams dudes taking meaningful snaps in the secondary. We can't have that this year. The depth is way more improved than it was last season. You get Bryce Hall in there. You drafted Morrison. You drafted Jacob Parrish to go with the guys that you already have. Kendall Vildor's in there. So this defense, just when you look at the numbers, and if you saw the depth chart, right? The depth chart just came out yesterday. You like what you see from the Bucs defense. You're like, damn, man, this looks a whole heck of a lot better than it did last year. When one guy goes down, 2 guys go down, and then there's, people kept saying, oh, the miscommunications on defense, that's where you hurt them. Yeah, it's a nice way of saying that the guys that are your backups just weren't good enough. But you're not going to say that. You're not going to throw those guys under the bus. But it is what it is. But I'm happy with what I've seen from the Buccaneers, and I'm really happy with, these guys being able to step up. And you look at Tristan Wirfs and just keep seeing it on social media where everybody just they're like, well, somebody keep Tristan Wirfs off the field. He is so fired up. He wants to be out there so bad. Yeah, keep him away. I don't want anything happening with Tristan Wirfs. I posted this today, and this is getting more. There's over 3,000 views. Chris Godwin. And we see Tristan every day, but Chris is a little bit more behind the scenes. Chris is a little bit more, we don't know too much of what's going on with him. I want to show you, and you guys can take this for what it's worth. And you tell me what you think of Chris Godwin, how you think he looks. Some people said it looks like he's walking with a limp. I don't necessarily see that. I think that's a little bit more swag or aura more than anything. What do you guys think? He's going to walk over by the other here. I mean, look at the change of direction here. Whoop, whoop. I don't think he's – what do you guys think? I don't look at it and immediately say, wow, he's walking with a limp. If anything, it stands out. Dude's wearing a hoodie and sweatpants outside and it's 90-something degrees. That stands out to me more than anything. Chan, you see the limp? I don't know. I think he's just got some swag, man. The dude's got some aura. I think that's where it is. Chris Godwin, can't wait to see him back. They need him, no doubt. But you're seeing more and more of Emeka Egbuka, and he got smoked today. But he got up a little slow, but he was okay. It's just that physical. It's football. But a really nice long pass to Emeka Egbuka, and every single day. And this happens in camp, right? You'll see these guys and just over and over and over again, these guys make plays. Quan Alexander was one of these guys where it's just every single day, this guy was making plays. You're like, geez, man, again and again. Tristan Wirfs blocking, doing these blocking drills again and again, just standing out. And it's different when you're talking about guys in the trenches. But I just remember Tristan, everybody having trouble beating this guy. But for Emeka Egbuka, it seems like every single day, we're hearing more from different people. It's crazy. And Kay Adams was out there yesterday from Up and Adams. And you're seeing all these different people. Pat Kerwin was there today. We've seen Pete Prisco there. John Gruden was there today. There's just so many different things so many different people that cycle through camp, especially when it's a good team. We didn't see the same kind of thing a couple of years ago before Tom Brady was here. It wasn't the same. The fervor wasn't the same, the energy, the excitement. But today was one of those days where everybody and their mother was out there because of the joint practices with the Tennessee Titans. There's just something about this team. And even if you're the most pessimistic Bucs fan, and you guys know me, I'm optimistic, but I'm more of a realist, I think, than anything else. When I watch this Bucs team and when I watch a guy like Emeka Egbuka, it's just every day I walk away like, this is a good football team. That's a good football player. It's not about being a great athlete. It's not about like what he looks like, in his pads or without his pads. All that stuff is meaningless. This guy is smooth as silk. You can tell the difference between, like, even Jalen McMillan. That's a great example. Last year and even this year, J-Mac had a couple of really nice grabs today. So I'm not bad-mouthing Jalen because I think he's a heck of a player. But even last year, it took him a while to get going, and then he finished really strong down the stretch. But when you watched him, there was a couple of passes that he dropped in training camp last year, and it's just like, this is a guy that's supposed to be sure-handed, and he just wasn't. Doesn't mean he can't get better at it, but just you looked at it and said, he's a rookie. He's a rookie. He'll get better. I haven't said that one time with Emeka Egbuka. Not once. This is a guy that just, he looks like, check, he's on the team. Check, he's been here for years. He's back there catching punts. He's catching balls in traffic. He knows exactly where to go. He's a safety net for Baker Mayfield. I don't know if I would put money on him being the offensive rookie of the year, but I tell you what, if you did it, I don't think it's stupid. Everybody has great things to say about him. And that's people that watch him every day. When it comes to the media side, that comes with the players and the coaches, like from them as well. And also these national media people that are just in town for one day. They come in town one day and they look at Emeka Egbuka like, that dude's the real deal. We haven't always had guys like that with the Bucs. And to be able to have a dude like that where you could just, it's almost like those old rotisserie ovens from the 90s. Just set it and forget it. You don't have to worry about that kid. That's a great draft pick there. And I have my reservations, drafting a or wide receiver when you already had you had a nice room. You had some good players there. Do you really need to go out and get a Emeka Egbuka? But listen, for an offense like this that wants to continuously put up somewhere in the range of 30 points, adding a guy like that certainly can't hurt because he can play the X, the Y, the Z. Again, he's a safety net, and he wants to make sure that his quarterback is comfortable. Some of the things that he says, this is stuff that you hear from wide receivers after they played in the league for a while, not guys that are rookies that haven't even played in an NFL game yet. He has to be able to perform on Sundays, but, man, if you're a betting man, I bet that this guy, Emeka Egbuka, is going to be a factor for the Bucs going forward. All right, let's bring him in Hall of Famer, one of our favorite guests in the program, the one and only Matt Grothe. He's got the lightning shirt on. What's going on, brother?
Doing well. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. You man,
Okay,
so
cool.
good. How are things?
Good. Yeah, can't complain. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you saw that I went to the first scrimmage yesterday. So I haven't seen the boys in a while. It was good to be out on the football field and especially see all the new construction, the stadium being built. It's going up quick.
It was hot as hell out there too.
Well,
Crazy,
uh,
man. Crazy heat.
it was hot. I'll give you that. But luckily, I was standing on the defensive side,
Nice.
and they had the shade from the indoor practice facility, so it was a little cooler over there.
How is it? How is it like, Matt, to be able to see? I mean, obviously, you saw where this whole program came from, and to be able to see now, like the indoor practice facility and the new stadium going up, like what is that like from your eyes?
There's spoiled brats. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it it makes me smile,
Mhm.
to be a part of. You know, I can't even imagine the guys that first started this program. I remember when I came in 2005, and we were told horror stories of the guys working out of trailers and stuff, and then we were fortunate enough to get the actual facility, and then now there's the indoor practice facility, and there's the stadium being built. Where like yesterday when I was pulling up to practice, I came in the back way of USF and literally drive by the old practice fields that we used to practice on,
Mhm.
and it's just a big hole, and there's 47 tractors out there making all kinds of noise and putting steel beams in the ground. So it's definitely needed for a long time, and I'm glad that it's happening, and it looks like it's happening extremely quick. So
Yeah, man. Cannot wait to be there. It's going to be incredible for not just USF, but our entire community as a whole. What did you see from Byron Brown yesterday? Obviously, last year dealt with some injuries and he looks healthy. He looks good. I mean, what's the ceiling for this kid in this offense going into 2025?
well, I will I will defend the offense a little bit. Um, it's first to four. I believe four scrimmages they're going to have before the first game. If your defense isn't ahead of your offense in the first scrimmage, then you got bigger issues on the field.
Right.
And I think that showed yesterday. There was a couple of really big plays and some really good plays on both sides of the offense and defense. There was this one play where Byram hit a guy across the middle, and I thought he was going to take it to the house, and about the 15 or 20-yard line, he got chased down, and the guy knocked the ball out, and defense made a big play. So it's good to see on both sides of the ball. And I'll tell you what, I gotta get better with my names going into the season, but uh, I was not only am I looking forward to seeing Byram, but if anything happens to him going into this season, that transfer kid from Tennessee looks really
Yeah.
really good too. So
What about Alex Golish, man? Now that he's been here a couple of years, what have you seen from him? How have you seen his growth? And what does it look like for this team, I think, as a whole going forward this season?
AG is a good dude, man. Like I was talking to some people on Monday, and they were like, "Hey, we got a scrimmage on Wednesday. If you want to come out." Came out, um, was there for maybe 2 minutes, and I got waved down by somebody on the field and was like, "Hey, AG saw you, and he wants to come say hey to you." So it was like, it's pretty cool that not only he had to have taken the time to know that I was going to be
Right.
there and wanted to say hi and welcome me back. So um, he definitely has a really good head on his shoulders, and um, I love I love how he gets after it because he'll sit there. I watched it 100 times yesterday at practice. He'll sit there and let those guys make mistake after mistake or make a good play, but after the drive's done, he was getting into guys, and I mean, if you're going to be in a D1 college football player, you got to learn how to take that kind of stuff, and I'll tell you one thing. Yesterday was the first time I'd ever been out at a USF practice where I was glad that I wasn't on the field because there's some big boys out there this year. I mean, even over the past 10, 15 years when I've gone to practices and watched it, I'm like, every now and again you're like, all right, I can still do this, or in your head you can, but yesterday, man, it was just like some of these guys look like giants, and the way they move, and we look good. And another good thing is, I was talking to some of the other coaches, and they're really excited about the depth that we have on the team.
Right.
So, obviously that's the biggest thing when it comes to towards the end of the year, the middle of the year, you need to have that depth. There's a reason why the Alabamas of the world and the Georgias of the world can get a key injury and stay where they are, is because they have that depth. And I don't know, I can't tell you maybe more than once or twice in the last 15 years since I've been done, I've heard the word depth so many times as I did yesterday. Right. And I mean, it's going to play key, especially with the first 3 games of the year. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but I'd be willing to bet that USF probably has the hardest 3-game season.
Yeah, they do.
At the beginning of the year in the country.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, how would you get your mindset? How would you prepare your team? Because I know the cliche is one game at a time, one play at a time, and you break it down to that micro kind of analysis there. Don't get too far ahead, but at the end of the day, you are human, right, Matt? Like, you look at that schedule. So what would you think the overall mindset going into the start of the season to try to weather that storm? Because that outside noise is going to be pretty loud, saying what you just said, right? The start to your season is going to be more difficult than anybody else's.
Yeah, I mean, you got Boise. The first 3 games are top 23 opponents, so and it's going to be. And to play off your cliche, I think when you're younger, you don't fully understand the one game at a time. I mean, it makes more sense to me now that I'm older and I've done it and seen it and whatever. But I mean, I think that's the best thing you can do to tell those kids. And they're not going to fully understand, one play at a time, one snap at a time, one game at a time. But you have to find something in your head and your mentality to forget about it. There's been a lot. I've watched over the last 20 years of my life, watched incredible players, high school, college, and then you never see them again when they go to the NFL because they can't get that mentality factor right. And that was another thing that Coach Golish brought up to me yesterday, was that the guys are starting to figure it out and understand that practice isn't just practice. Practice is to prepare for a game and be ready to go week 1. So it's going to be a tough three-week stretch, but I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to it more than the beginning of the season than ever, because if we can somehow pull out a win or 2, or God forbid win all 3 somehow, I mean, it'll be, the whole city of Tampa will be on the map and everywhere. So
you're right. The more games that they win in the beginning of the season, the brighter the spotlight is going to be on that team. And I'm with you. I'm such a believer in Alex Golish and such a believer in Byron Brown, and it's kind of crazy too, because you look at it now with the NIL and the transfer portal. I mean, you know as well as I do, like, there's a lot of people in and outside of USF. Could Byram have left after last season, right? I mean, that's a question that a lot of people ask. We don't know, right? Because with how much money people are throwing around, you're talking about a kid 2 years ago that's putting up passing and rushing numbers that were only equaled by Jaden Daniels, who won the Heisman Trophy. So if he would have moved on, you would have been like, hey, man, if you're going to go to one of these huge schools and they're giving you $5 million a year, it's hard to fault a kid. But there's a reason why he came back, and I think a huge part of that is Alex Golish being able to accentuate his strength. I mean, were you surprised at all that Byram came back, and just like the state, because of the state of college athletics?
nothing surprises me anymore. I mean, it's hard to explain with this whole NIL and everything that's going on. Some kids, I feel like, almost feel like it's the mentality part too. You either have to get it or you don't get it. Because I
Mhm.
mean, I don't. Another kid that I don't remember the name, but I remember. I think he was from Tennessee as well. Wasn't there a kid from Tennessee that thought he could get more money and he was already going to be a top three
Oh
quarterback and
yeah,
then transferred and
yeah,
didn't
Ian
get anything?
Maliava, and then he went to UCLA. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So like the grass isn't always greener. So
Hmm.
um, you know, at the end of the day, if you're happy where you're at, and and I know that I'm pretty sure they're taking well
Yeah.
by him. So
Yeah, but he ain't scratching two pennies together right
no,
now. That's for sure.
no. So he just needs to settle in.
Hmm.
Obviously he had the year last year that he was injured most of the year, and it's going to be exciting to see him going into a fully rested body going into the season, and it's going to have to start fast. That's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And listen, the guy that played a ton last year was Bryce Archie, and he made the decision to go pro in the major leagues after getting drafted by the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, just take, what did you make of that whole situation? Because I thought he did a really good job in an offense that really, I mean, he was more of a traditional pocket passer, not so much of an RPO guy. I think he made the most of it, led the team to its second bowl victory. And, I watched him on the mound this year throwing 95 against Florida State. And I was like, not to be a dick or anything, but your future might be on this field instead of the other one. I mean, it's got to be cool to be able to see a USF guy. It sucks that he's not going to be with the program, but I feel like he made the right choice for his future. Don't you agree?
Oh, 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
if you get drafted and you're like you said, you're throwing 95. I I mean, that is one thing in life that I always regretted was never playing baseball growing up.
Did you never play baseball at all?
And the crazy part is in high school, like all of my good dude friends were baseball players. Like I was on the football field, but uh, after a football game on a Friday or Saturday night, I was hanging out with my buddies who played baseball, and
Oh my god.
baseball was always in the spring. And my senior year, after my senior year of football, um, the baseball season was like a little bit over halfway through this, and
Hmm.
I had been to a bunch of games just to cheer them on or whatever. And the coach came up to me one day and was like, "Hey, we've been in a slump. They had lost like 4 games in a row, and he was like, why don't you come out here?" He's like, "I know all your buddies are out here." So I I ended up playing like the last 2 weeks of the baseball season, doing absolutely, I have no idea what I'm doing, throwing
Oh
the
my
baseball
god.
like a football. But I always give my buddies a hard time because I ended up getting two at bats, and I got walked in my first one by a guy that was throwing like 64. It wasn't even fast. And then the second guy, I think he played at Winter Haven. It was either Winter Haven or Lake Wales, and it was Jordan Schaefer
Okay.
who
Oh,
who,
okay.
who was throwing 90 something,
Oh my
and
god.
yeah, and actually hit me with a ball, and I got on base. So I always give him a hard time that I'll go down in history as the best on base percentage in Lake Gibson history.
Oh my god. The record books. You think USF record books is all you'll see Matt Grothe's name? No, my friends. Lake Gibson baseball too. I love that. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, you see that a lot. Baseball, football, and did you play any other sports growing up outside of football?
No, I did taekwondo growing up. Actually was into that before I got into football, and actually went to the Junior Olympics 2 years when I was 12 and 13 for taekwondo.
No
Yeah,
way.
yeah, I'm a second degree black belt in taekwondo. So,
Wow. Are you a big MMA fan? Did that translate?
um, it wasn't real popular. I mean,
Hmm.
there was grappling and ground stuff when I was growing up, but I mean, I love MMA. I watch it all
Hmm.
the time. My dog's trying to come say hi.
Hey.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I actually think You know, my dad always tells me all the time that he thinks that me doing Taekwondo growing up was one of the biggest helpers of my football career just because of the mental aspect of it all.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I did Taekwondo, I think one session when I was like 8 or 9, and then my dad was like, "You want to play hockey?" And I was like, "Yep, let's do hockey." And then, but you bring up a great point because I was a good baseball player. I was an all-star, whatever. But when I played hockey, I took another step forward, huge step forward, because of the physical aspect of it. And as I got older, my best friends that were linebackers on the football team, they'd say we kind of play the same position because I play defense. And they're like, don't take this the wrong way. You're not the biggest guy in the world, but you lay people out. And I go, yeah, you're a linebacker. He's like, we kind of play the same spot. I'm like, yeah, kind of a little bit. But the physicality, right? Like once you play something like that, it takes it to another level. I want to ask you about the Tampa Bay Lightning, man. How cool is it to be able to see the Lightning kind of grow over your years being in Tampa Bay?
Oh, hockey's. I don't know if I'd ever have the balls to step on a hockey rink to play hockey, but I think now that I'm in my 30s, late 30s, I enjoy playoff hockey more than I enjoy watching anything else on TV.
It's another level, isn't it? Like it's crazy.
So it's like I have a smile on my face the whole time watching the game. It's just like, no matter what's going on.
You're like a kid on Christmas.
Yeah.
Who have you met over the years? What Lightning players have you met?
Oh gosh, quite a few. I think Stamkos is probably my biggest awe. I think that was. I actually met him. I met quite a few of them. Stamkos was definitely the biggest. Like, holy cow! But when I was when I was playing arena football for a little bit, that's where we played at. So a lot of times you'd walk on the parking lot and you'd be like, oh, there's 6 Ferraris and 2 Lamborghinis. the hockey team must be here. So, but yeah, and it's crazy how like you don't think about it watching on TV. Some of these guys are giants. They're 6'9". You're like,
Victor Hedman is a huge man.
Oh, he is
huge.
Yeah, literally the definition of a giant is well, especially with skates on.
Yeah, and he's always like, "Hey Jay," I'm like, "All right, how's the weather up there, Vic?" And that's without the skates on. I'm like, "Holy smokes, man!" Yeah. You think about it too, because you'd love to see a guy like that on the football field, because they throw a lot of the guys kick the soccer ball around before the game, but Hedman and Stamkos always threw the football. So it's always cool to be able to see those guys play some different sports too. Because yeah, man, I mean, Stamkos is a big baseball player as well. So that whole cross thing. I mean, how have you, before I let you go, how have you seen that grow? Was it when you were playing at USF, was the relationship like that with all the pro sports teams, with the Lightning, with the Rays, with the Bucks, or is that something that's grown over the last 20 years or so?
I mean, I think social media has helped with that quite a bit. But I mean, at the same time, when like the year, what was it? 07 when we started having a run.
Yeah.
I remember sitting on the sideline one day and somebody was like, holy shit, Evan Longoria's 3 rows up sitting back there watching us play.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's what makes everybody always wants to call themselves the city of champions, and I think that definitely helps when you have support from other teams that are doing well. I mean, if I remember a game, I think 07 was the same year that the Rays went far in the playoffs, and during one of our games, one of the people I was sitting on the sideline, we were way up, and they threw me the Rays hat, and I wore it on the sideline.
Yeah, I remember that, the picture.
Yeah, and the Rays were doing real well that year too. So, anytime you get support from any other sport in your city is only going to help with your confidence, I would think,
You got that right, my friend. All right, he's USF Hall of Famer Matt Grothe. Matt, always appreciate chatting with you, my friend, and we'll talk to you again here in the next couple of months, and hopefully we, like you said, let's get a couple of wins, man, to get the spotlight on our boys in the Tampa Bay area. Appreciate you, buddy. We'll talk soon.
All right, appreciate it, Jay. Go Bulls.
You got it. Yes, sir. Go Bulls. Go Bulls is right. He's the man. Matt Grothe. Got to love it. He's the man. He is the man. Hope you were paying attention to that interview with Matt Grothe, because if you're paying attention to the interview with Matt Grothe, I will be asking a question that had to do with Matt Grothe when we pick our winner for our tickets at 1:30 today. Again, tickets at 1:30 today to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers opener against the Tennessee Titans. So cannot wait for that. Some really, really good stuff. All right. Hey, I want to mention something that I saw yesterday. And how about the Rays winning that game? It looked ugly after that first game against the Angels. And you're like, all right, this season's over. And mind you, listen, I get it. They're not world beaters when you're looking at the Angels. They've overperformed. Ron Washington's done a good job. Let's hope that he gets better sooner rather than later. After losing that first game 5-1, you come back and you win the next two, 7-3, 5-4, and you look at the game last night, and they're off today. So no Rays baseball today. But when you look at what Junior Caminero has been able to do in his rookie season, he's been as good as advertised, if not better. 30 home runs and 76 RBIs. When a lot of people ask me, what did I think about Junior Caminero going into the season? He was probably one of the least of my concerns, just because he's such a talented young player, but he also knows when he has to rise to the top. He knows what it takes to be a guy that comes through when the lights are the brightest. And that's what we've seen from him this year. We saw it in the offseason and in the All-Star game, right? This is a guy that I think as the years go by, he's just going to continue to get better. And he's a 30 home run guy this year, could, with 116 games. I mean, he could get 40. He could be a 40 home run guy. And if I told you going into the season you're going to get 40 home runs and 90-plus RBIs from Junior Caminero, I mean, man, you would take 3/4 of that. For all the things that the Rays have not done in the 2025 season, Junior Caminero not pulling his weight is certainly not one of those things. Great to get Chandler Simpson back into the lineup the last couple of days. 1 for 5, his batting average is up at 293. And even Christopher Morel, I know he struck out 3 times. He ends up hitting the solo shot to seal the deal for the Rays. That's Christopher Morel for you. It's not pretty. He ends up hitting a home run. I mean, you can't script this type of stuff out when it comes to our Tampa Bay Rays. They're 2 games under 500. They're still sitting at 4th in the AL East. They have to continue to push. They have to continue to try to win these games. They got to go on a little bit of a run like we saw about a month and a half ago when they were fantastic. Because if not, they're going to be on the outside looking in when it comes to the postseason. The pitching is there. We know that there's talent there. But can they finish strong? I mean, Shane Baz yesterday, 9 strikeouts. Again, the strikeout totals have been very high for Shane this year, which is great. But he throws way too many pitches. It's just a lot. It's a lot. 81 pitches in 4 innings. You're not going to win that way. 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 runs. All of them earned 2 walks, 9 Ks. He gave up the home run as well. As much as the Rays need to figure out that bullpen, not just this year, but going forward, and this has been a strength for them the last couple of years, I mean, they need some help when it comes to their starters. They need some length, man. They need 6, 7, 8 innings. It'd be nice to get a complete game every once in a while instead of having to go, think about how they were able to patchwork it yesterday after Baz. Uceta, Clevenger, Baker, Jax, and Fairbanks. Good thing that they have a day off today so those guys can rest. You don't want to throw those guys, 2 out of 3 days or 3 out of 4 days. But just it's a lot. It's a lot for these guys. Going forward, that Taj Bradley's not there, so you're looking at Joe Boyle and, whatever happened to Shane McClanahan. That's a huge disappointment this year. But if this team wants to go forward and make the playoffs, guys like Ryan Pepio, guys like Shane Baz, you can't go 5 in a dive. You can't just be 4 innings. You need more length from these guys if they're going to be successful and to take some of that heat off of the bullpen. So we will go from there. The other thing, okay. So I haven't been thrilled with the whole idea of we're going to trade a 24-year-old right-hander in Taj Bradley for a guy like Griffin Jax in the bullpen. But the more and more I think about this deal, the more I wonder if Griffin Jax, is he next? Is Griffin Jax the next guy that the Tampa Bay Rays take from a reliever and turn him into a starter? We saw it with Zach Littell. He was obviously a couple years younger when they made that adjustment with him. They started to stretch him out, and he became a really solid starter for the Rays. Now, again, Griffin Jax is a couple years older, but they have him under control for a couple years now. And to be able to trade a 24-year-old starter for a reliever just on the surface doesn't make a whole lot of sense, in my opinion. Yes, you want to fortify the bullpen, but we've seen for years the Rays have been able to pluck these guys from obscurity, guys that you've never heard of before, guys that may start the year in AA or AAA, and by the end of the year, their ERA is under 3, and they're pitching meaningful games late in the season in the 7th and 8th innings. We've seen that for years when it comes to the Rays. But when I look at Griffin Jax, I look at a guy that is not just a 2-pitch pitcher. He's not just he throws a 98-mile-an-hour fastball with a pretty decent slider. This guy is a 3, 4, 5-pitch pitcher that I really do believe he is next up. I think Griffin Jax is that guy. When you talk about top-end arms, when you talk about high-end potential, a guy that can be not just in the middle of your middle of your rotation, but maybe the top of your rotation. Why else would you trade a starter in Taj Bradley for one bullpen arm, like a 1-for-1 deal like that? Think about it. They've done it before. I think they do it again. I truly believe Griffin Jax is the next guy up. He's got such a talented arm. He's a guy that is going to be under control for the next couple of years. And there's proof of concept of them doing it with a guy like Zach Littell. And I don't think there's any argument. Griffin Jax's stuff is much better now than it was when Zach Littell first joined the Rays. So you haven't heard it up until now, but just watching him and just understanding the way that the Rays do things, don't be surprised if Griffin Jax is next. Don't be surprised if we start hearing some rumblings, some murmurs down the stretch in the regular season and maybe even in the offseason going into the 2026 regular season that they're going to stretch out Griffin Jax and have him part of this Tampa Bay Rays rotation, not just next year, but moving forward. I don't think that'd be a terrible idea because the kid is very impressive. Very impressive. I love what he's all about. And again, you haven't heard that from anywhere else except right here on the Jay Recher podcast. So Griffin Jax, possibly a starter. We shall see. If any team can do it, it is our Tampa Bay Rays. And just looking at some of the numbers for Griffin Jax, this is a guy last season throwing that fastball with an average velocity of 97.1. He threw that 30% of the time. A sinker at 9.8, slider at 37.5, curveball at 6.2, and then the change piece at 16.7. So again, this is a 5-pitch pitcher. You don't see that from relievers very often. You see a 1-pitcher, and that's part of the reason why they're relievers, is because the repertoire isn't as deep as some of these other guys. But you see a guy like Griffin Jax, the ability for him to be able to get outs with multiple pitches, and we know what those numbers are now, and they change big time. Because the Rays, they're not so four-seam fastball dominant. They switch things up. If they say, hey, you're more of a slider guy or a cutter guy, they're not afraid to change the grips. They're not afraid to change how often they use certain pitches. They have the confidence in their own ability because there is that proof of concept. It's worked in the past. So for Griffin Jax, and go on Fangraphs when you can, and go look at the pitch usage, look at the velocity, and check it out from 23 to 24 to this year in 2025, the difference between Minnesota and Tampa Bay. And then you look in 2026. Look at how different it's going to be. Because I think you're going to see a drastic switch for Griffin Jax. You're not just going to see a guy that's a 7th inning, 8th inning bridge to a guy like P. Fairbanks. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be a starter, that's going to take the ball every 5th day. Then that trade makes me feel a lot better about this team rather than just saying, hey, we used a 24-year-old right-handed pitcher that we put so much time, energy, and effort into, and we got a guy that's going to pitch 1 inning a day. Like, I just don't, in the long run, I just don't think it makes that much sense. All right, let's bring him in. He's hot as heck, but he's in his car, so he's got the AC pumping. He's our guy, Josh Queipo from Pewter Report. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Hey Jay, I'm doing well. How about you?
Oh, much better. I've been out of the heat longer than you, so I'm good. I'm adjusted. Did you hurt yourself at all breaking up all those skirmishes at practice today?
You know what? I was throwing guys left and right, and the rotator cuff is feeling a little sore from it. I'll get iced down, and I'll be all right tomorrow.
What was the biggest skirmish that stood out to you today?
I think two kind of really that I was able to see. So the first was during one-on-ones. You had Cody Malk and Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah, that
Simmons definitely pushing Malk back, condensing the pocket. Right at the end, Malk was able to get him kind of off balance and toss him to the ground. He took exception. Malk got him right in his face. That was fun to see. That was kind of I was right there when that happened. And then later on, you had, it looked like, so from my vantage point, I want to say it was Cody Barton who kind of got, or Graham Barton, who got into it. There was some pushing, some shoving, people taking exception. Eventually, Bucky Irving gets thrown to the ground. And then, full disclosure, I wasn't sure. I'm pretty sure it was Luke Gedeke. I saw him basically belly flop onto two Titans players. Tristan Wirfs comes running out with his long stick cane thing, that just ready to brawl. I think Baker was in the middle of it. It was kind of one of those benches clearing type deals. So, you could tell that the teams are ready to hit someone else besides their own guys.
Luke Gedeke with the belly flop. We got to get him entered into a contest at Shepherd's or something like that. All right, so you've been here for a couple of days, being able to fly. Let everybody know where you live, and because a lot of people, they're like, man, Josh Queipo, he had a lot of the games, and I'm like, I'm going to let him tell the story on the program today because you do such a great job of covering the team from afar. Just let everybody know where you live that are just tuning in for the first time today, and what brings you into town these last couple of days.
Yeah, so I grew up in Tampa, and to be completely honest, I grew up a Bucs fan. So I covered, I watched them as a kid, mid to late '90s and the early 2000s. Moved away from Tampa for other professional reasons, and eventually landed in Atlanta back in 2019. Started covering the team for Pewter Report in 2022. So I do kind of cover from afar. My initial kind of inlet into football and covering it from the media side was the salary cap, and you can do that from literally anywhere on earth, right? So every so often, I have family in Tampa. I like to get back here. My roots are here. So every so often, I get the opportunity to come back and maybe cover a game. I've been able to get to training camp each of the last four. I think this is my fourth training camp where I've been able to spend a few days here, which is really nice. And then when the Bucs go to Atlanta, like in week 1, I'll be able to cover from there, because it's right down the street from me. Carolina is only a few hour drive, so I can always cover those games. So it's nice. It gives me that opportunity to interact with the team a little bit. But it's not an everyday like the rest of the guys from Pewter Report.
Josh, what's the biggest thing now being at camp the last couple of days? What's the biggest one thing that stood out to you that maybe you saw it on social media, but then seeing it live and in person that really made an impression on you?
Yeah, I think one of the things is the last few training camps, there's been a narrative with a young rookie wide receiver having a great camp. And it's almost like it becomes this runaway train. 2 years ago, Trey Palmer, I remember the discourse around, he's good enough in training camp that Russell Gage isn't even going to be the wide receiver 3. Now, Gage obviously ended up getting hurt in training camp and missed the entire season. But I was that guy saying, we might want to slow down a little bit on this. Like, he's still a day 3 pick. There's some stuff there like that. That's really exciting, but that's a lot for a day 3 rookie. Then last year it was Jalen McMillan. I bought into that one. Like, full disclosure, I came down for a couple days. I was like, man, this kid looks really good. He obviously had the touchdown week 1 against the Commanders, but then it took Jalen a while. It wasn't until the back half of the year that he really got going. And then I come down and Emeka Egbuka looks phenomenal, like absolutely incredible. And this one I'm going to buy into more than the other two, because I think this one, the training camp, what I've seen there supports more of the film that I've watched from him in Ohio State. With the other two, you were talking about a 3rd round pick, a 5th round, or I think Palmer was 5th or 6th round. And it's like, yeah, it's a nice camp, but you've got a lot of film and not like a lot more snaps saying there are some holes in their game that might be exploited at the NFL level. With Ibuka, it's the first round draft pedigree. He looked like a pro at Ohio State. All of this continues to support the original evaluation that I had for him. He was wide receiver 2 on my board. It was Travis Hunter, and then it was him. I had him over guys like Tet McMillan and Matthew Golden. So I'm buying the hype on Ibuka. I think he's phenomenal.
What about the other big wide receiver that is going to draw a lot of headlines, and maybe because he won't be in there, and that's a guy like Chris Godwin. He was out there walking around today in a hoodie and sweatpants. I don't know how the hell he does that. But what's your take on Chris Godwin? When do you think we could see him in the regular season?
Yeah, I right now I'm leaning towards he starts the season on the PUP list. So that's going to be at least four games, I think it is. He's still not at the point where he's even starting to practice. We're really going to know in 2 weeks' time. Like, they're not going to rush him in 1 week of practice, right, and all of a sudden he's out there for week 1. So just based on where he's at and the fact that he's not participating with the teams yet, even if it's a non-contact jersey, I think that your odds are at this point greater than 50% that he probably starts the season on the PUP list. I don't see it as a huge issue. It's not where he starts the season, but where he is when the season's winding down, right, that I think is much more important for him and for the team and for their overall success this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This team needs to be healthy at the end of the year because they have aspirations to make another deep postseason run. It's not just about having, like, let's have all of our toys in the beginning. No, just be healthy, play some good football, win the division, and then take care of everything from there. So what do you see as far as the back end of that wide receiver position? Because I think we know, like, let's say he does start on the PUP list. That helps guys like Shepard and Palmer. And how many receivers do you think they keep, and who do you think they are week 1?
Yeah, I think it's 6. So obviously you got Mike, you got Jalen McMillan, you've got Ibuka. So those are kind of your top 3 there. I'm not so sure if Sterling Shepard makes the final 53. For a few reasons, I think the team feels comfortable that he's not going anywhere. He likes Tampa. He likes Baker. And then also with him being a vested veteran, if he's on the roster week 1, it guarantees his salary for the entire year. And so if they can keep him off the 53, even for just 1 week before adding him, it gives them a little bit more wiggle room when it comes to his salary. So I think Ryan Miller right now, just everything that he can do, I would not be surprised if he's a guy who makes that 53rd spot. He can play multiple positions. He's one of those dogs who's going to do everything that you want him to do. He'll dig a guy out in the run game. He's going to go over the middle. He's going to clear stuff. He's got pretty good hands, and he had a really good day of camp just yesterday. So he's kind of a dark horse that I'm looking at. I think Tez Johnson makes the team.
Right.
And then right now I'll say Trey Palmer, but I just feel like that continues to be arrowed down, where he's given an opportunity to somebody who they just signed, like maybe even like a Garrett Green, the quarterback out of West Virginia who's converting. Jacob Harris out of UCF, they just signed last week. He's had a couple of good days of camp. Or I want to say the guy, Dennis Houston. I think.
Dennis has been really good.
Yep. So I think all of those guys, they have a legit shot to maybe take that spot away from Trey Palmer, because Palmer just hasn't really held on to it. Like, shown that, this is year 3 for him, and he just hasn't really taken that step to develop.
You're a guy that focuses a lot on the salary cap, and I wanted to ask you about extensions. And we see that at this time of year over the next couple of weeks when teams start reallocating some of this money into different spots. Who do you think could be eligible for an extension before the regular season starts for the Bucs?
Yeah, I think the top 3 names there are going to be Luke Gedeke, Kate Otten, and then maybe Zion McCollum, although I think that one's going to be a much more difficult deal to thread the needle on, just because the valuations for McCollum, as I see them, they're just so wide. The position itself is very volatile. His play also has been volatile. And so because of that, you could see valuations as low as $8 to $10 million a year. You could see them as high as his agent could make a case for 22 to 25 million. So when you've got that wide of a gap, it's hard for both sides to meet in the middle, because they're giving up so much ground. But Gedeke, I think the market for him is fairly well defined by some of the recent deals that have been signed by other offensive tackles from his draft class. Zach Tom, right tackle at Green Bay, signed for $22 million a year. Bernard Ryman from Indy Left tackle, he signed for 25. And I think that really carves out a defined market for Gedeke, kind of right in the middle there. $23.5 million per year. I could see the Bucks pushing for 5 years on that. So that turns into like 5 for 117.5. And I think that would be fair value for Luke on both sides.
Yeah, I think so too. He's been really good, and every time I see him out there one-on-ones, like it's iron sharpens iron against whether he's going against any of the Bucks pass rushers or even the guys today with the Titans. And he's really good. I mean, to me, I think we don't talk enough about how a guy was playing left guard and then goes to right tackle. Guys don't go out, they go in. You don't start as a guard and go play tackle, and then you go the other side of the football. Like I don't know many other people that have done that are in the league right now. To be able to go from guard to tackle and from the left side of the line to the right side of the line and to be as good as he is, he's not just serviceable. I think he's one of the better right tackles in the game. I think he's one of the most underrated players, I think, in the NFL. Forget about just for the Bucks.
100%. I remember one of my favorite articles I've ever written for Pewter Report was preseason 2020. I guess that was 22. No, 2023 was the first year he moved out to the right side. And it was, I think, his first preseason game out there. I think I had him on like post-game reaction. We do our best, who is the best, who is the worst.
Yeah.
On the worst, right? I had him on that list because there were some sacks from that side, and just watching live, you're trying to capture everything. And I just felt, he didn't have a good game. I went back to the tape and I was like, oh my gosh, he actually had a really, really good game. And I remember writing an article like I was wrong. And that was right as he took off that season, just leading into it. So it's just kind of cool being able to say my priors were wrong and watching him do that. And I think it's a credit to the team too, because they took two big risks there, not just Luke going from left guard to right tackle, but that move was in conjunction with taking your all-pro right tackle and saying, we think you can play on the left side. And for the success that Tristan's had moving from one side to the other, really unprecedented for any tackle, who he's the only one who's ever won an all-pro on both sides. To have both of those moves work out at such critical positions is a testament to their talent evaluation and their talent development on the O-line.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I want to talk to you about the defensive side of the ball and going into the secondary. What is your take on Shiloh? He's a guy that he's going to be a name, right, in training camp. Do you think he's a guy that has a chance to make the 53? I don't think he does, but do you think he's a practice squad guy, or do you think with that name and that pedigree, another team will take a shot at him and maybe try to get him on their 53?
I don't know if he makes anybody's 53. I definitely don't think he's going to make the Bucks. I want to say they released their first unofficial depth chart earlier this week, and he was at the bottom of the safety group. Maybe he's a guy they put on the practice squad, depending on how well he takes to coaching and how he applies himself to the things that they want him to work on. I don't think that he's a factor on any team's active roster this year. He would be somebody who's extremely developmental. You would think, coming from his family, I think that he's probably very coachable. And I think he's somebody who is going to apply himself to do all the things that he has to do to try and be the best version of himself. And that's somebody that you want on a practice squad, somebody who's going to take coaching, somebody who's going to apply themselves to getting better in the areas that they're deficient in. So I think that he's got all the character makeup to be somebody that they would want on the practice squad.
Yeah, and I wonder too, because guys like that, sometimes the narrative from afar, right? Like he's going to play a lot, you would think, in the preseason. So if he plays a lot in the preseason, let's say he has an interception, that kind of, you know how the narratives go, Josh. Like as much as the people that watch him every day and we're like, well, he's the fourth string on the depth chart, he comes away and he has a pick six on Saturday night, right? People are going to be like, why isn't he playing, right? So that's just, it's crazy because we were just talking about like social media, like things change, and that narrative, there's something about it. There's something about the whole Shiloh thing where I feel like it's going to blow up in the preseason because he's going to get a lot of opportunities, maybe good, maybe bad. I don't necessarily know. Are you concerned at all about the middle linebacker, the off-ball linebacker position? Because people look at Sebastian Dennis. I mean, he's a fantastic player, and he's a different cat out there. But the injuries are something that you cannot ignore when you're having that conversation. So are you worried about the depth at all with him and Jones alongside Levante David there?
Yeah, I thought Deion Jones looked really good out there today. And I have a lot of faith in Anthony Walker when he returns. As veterans who know where they need to be, who can effectively play the position from a mental standpoint. And I don't think either one of them have lost enough athleticism to say, especially Jones. Like, he's somebody the team consistently talks about how quick he is. He's still got all of the physical attributes that help make him one of the best linebackers of the late 2010s. And with regards to Servassier, if you look at linebacker play across the NFL right now, the developmental strategy, you have very few guys who come out and they're just dudes, like right off the bat. You saw it in this last draft. Only 4 linebackers were taking the top 100 picks. Kind of goes to show you what the league thinks of that position coming out of college. So it's really become a draft and develop position. Lots of day 3 picks who it takes 2 to 3 years for them to really learn that position at this level and be able to operate at a high level to be even average to above average. Well, Servassier Dennis was a 3rd round pick with lots of athleticism. He's entering year 3. The team continually raves about his ability in coverage and how much he's learned the position. So he is right on track to turn into what the modern day linebacker position from a development standpoint is. The wild card, as you mentioned, it's the health. If he can stay on the field, I feel really good about that tandem. If he can't stay on the field, I feel good enough about Jones and Walker to say that the position will be better than it was last year. Does that mean it's going to be one of the a top 10 unit? No. Does that mean it's going to be a league average unit? No. But even if they're the 20th to 22nd best linebacker unit in the NFL this year, that's a large jump forward from where they stood last year. And I also think that this position group is going to see a lot of benefits from just an improvement in the 4-man pass rush in front of them. I think that's going to make things a little bit easier.
Josh, before I let you go, I want to ask you about the corners. When you look at Jamel Dean, I saw him get burned a couple of times today. Some people are saying, oh, you got to trade Jamel Dean. You got Benjamin Morrison. I'm not really keen on trading players in the NFL unless you're going to get a high draft pick, just because it's such a physical game. Guys get banged up all the time. How do you see it shaking out in the beginning of the season when it comes to the corner position, how everybody fits in, and then over as the season goes on? Do you think we see a lot more Morrison and Parrish and guys like that over a guy like Jamel Dean?
Yeah, I think it's still Dean's spot to lose, and I don't think the team's going to trade him. If they learned anything from last year, and I think it wasn't a lesson they had to learn, I think they already knew it. You need depth in the secondary. It is a position that takes a beating, just in terms of injuries. It's one of the higher injury rates in the league is in the secondary, so you need to be 4-5 deep, and they are this year versus last year. So Dean is a value when he's on the field relative to his contract. You see lots of corners were getting big money this offseason, $16-20 million a year, top of the market at $30 million. Jamel Dean's only making $13 million, and they still have next year. He's under contract for next year. So I think they keep Dean and they feel good about their depth to get them through a full 17 to 21 game season, right? And then if the younger corners develop, they'll feel comfortable trading him next offseason, getting some draft assets. If Dean can, and you never really want to trade a guy at his lowest value. And that's where Dean is right now. He's coming off of his most injured season. So what they'd be able to recoup for him is pretty low. But if he plays 14, 15 games this year, and he looks as good as he has on the field the last few years, which is an above average corner, then he's rebuilt some of his value, and you can get another 3rd round pick like you did with Carlton Davis just last year. So I think that's probably the plan with Dean. I'm excited about Morrison, but he wasn't practicing today. He wasn't practicing yesterday. He's got a little bit of a hamstring issue, which is all the more reason why you want to keep more guys, right? Right. Stuff does pop up. And I think that the Bucs will find creative ways to get him and Parrish on the field. Parrish seems to be trending towards their starting nickel. So the reps are going to be there for him. I just had an article go up for Pewter Report, I think it was yesterday or today, where I think the Bucs can get creative on the back end to find Morrison snaps. One of the trends in the NFL right now on the defensive side of the ball is a 3 safety look, where you literally have 3 guys up top, 1 on each hash, 1 in the middle. I think the Bucs could do some really fun things with that, where Winfield is your middle safety. You put Tyke on 1 hash, and then you take one of your bigger corners, like Morrison or Zion, and you make him the other hash safety. And you can do that in a dime look, like with only one linebacker on the field. You could do it with a nickel to get Parrish off the field a little bit, just to allow Morrison to get some reps, whether it's Morrison on the outside and Zion up top or vice versa. So I think what this gives is Todd Bowles some creativity, and I always love it when Todd Bowles has the ability to be creative.
You got that right, buddy. Josh Queipo, Pewter Report, Josh_Queipo. Make sure pewterreport.com. Go check the guys out. Always doing fantastic work. Josh, always a pleasure. So great to see you in person, my man. Safe travels back home, and we'll talk to you again soon down the road. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
You got it, pal. JQ, Josh Queipo in the house. He is unbelievable all over it. I like guys that are doing a little something different rather than the same old shit over and over again. I love how he attacks the salary cap and does a little bit of everything on the program. For Pewter Report, the articles that he writes, he is all over it. All right, let's go check out our friends at thehonesthammer.com. We got it. Here we go. Thehonesthammer.com. We got to go check them out. Make sure if you have any type of needs. And I was just talking to Russ today from The Honest Hammer, and there's just so many good things that are going on with The Honest Hammer. So many big projects that they have going on. Again, 813-244-0956. Go to thehonesthammer.com. This is a big-time Tampa Bay sports fan just like you. You need help with your pre-engineered metal buildings, bathroom, kitchen remodels, new construction, commercial construction, interior, and structural renovations. They can help you out. Again, give them a shout. 813-244-0956. Honest Hammer, General Contractor Company, CGC 153-116. You can email them at thehonesthammer@gmail.com. Listen, if you have a question, hey, Russ, I'm thinking about doing this. I'm thinking about doing this. How much is it going to cost me? What can I do? He'll take care of you. 813-244-0956. Tell him that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast, and you get a discount. Who can beat that? And I see a lot more people out there complaining about their contractors. Oh, I got screwed by this guy, and this guy said he was going to do this, and they only did half the job. Like, you hear so many of these horror stories when it comes to these people that are trying to do renovations for their kitchens and their bathrooms. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and they've been without their kitchen for 6 months because their contractor let you down. My friends at The Honest Hammer will not let you down. 813-244-0956. Again, go to thehonesthammer.com, and they will help you out today. Again, you get a discount. Tell them that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast. And also, we can thank them because The Honest Hammer is the reason why we have some tickets to give away. We're going to give them away in about 7 minutes or so. I hope you guys have been paying attention to the discussions today. Let's run through everything else that we've seen so far. Manchester United agreeing to a $98.8 million deal with Benjamin Sesko, their 22-year-old attacker up front. We'll see about that one. Andrew Kittredge, did you guys see this? Former Rays reliever get booed a day ago for giving up 4 runs in the third of an inning. Comes up with an immaculate inning for the Chicago Cubs in their win. This is a guy, former All-Star with the Tampa Bay Rays. You remember Kit with that long beard. And he was at Disney World with his family when he got the call that he was a late addition to the All-Star game for the Rays as a representative for the Tampa Bay club. Really love him. Really love being around him and getting to know this guy, and just a really solid individual, great dad and husband. Here's the other thing too. Looking at baseball, and you're wondering what year, like, is this the year for said player or said team to really be able to step up and do their thing? Well, it seems like this is the year for Toronto. They, of course, have to have it translate so that they can do some damage in the postseason. But my God, this team has just been crushing the baseball. 63 hits in the 3-game sweep of the Rockies, the most since 1900. It doesn't matter who it is. It's Bo Bichette. It's Ernie Clement. It's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. They set a franchise record for runs in a 3-game series with 45 hits, 45 runs, 63 hits in the series. You were wondering, is this going to be the year, right? And I was not one of those people. I was one of those people like, this hasn't worked out. Getting all these young guys and saying, all right, well, we have Vlad and we have Bo Bichette and Kevin Biggio for all these years, and it just never worked out with this team. And now it's been impressive. The pitching still, I mean, they've given up 521 runs which is actually more than the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Rays have given up. And I think that's the key for them, is being able – it's about run prevention as well. But you look at this club, I mean, 68 and 48, first in the AL East. They're just winning and winning and winning. And listen, you thought they were slipping a little bit. They had a 4-game winning streak after going into Detroit and beating them for the first 3 of the 4. And then they went on a little bit of a skid, 4 in a row. But they've been able to bounce back. And they're 4 games ahead of the Boston Red Sox, 6.5 ahead of the Yankees, and 11 ahead of our Tampa Bay Rays. If I wouldn't be betting against them right now. I don't know. In the long run, are they going to be able to be the team that can do some damage and get to the World Series? My money would say no. But I think they're taking advantage of a little bit of a weaker division. But listen, they're 38 and 19 at home. They're balling out up there at the Rogers Center. Do I trust them more than the Astros? No. I think the Astros have a lot of guys with that experience. You have champions on your team. I don't want to bet against a team like the Houston Astros, that's for sure. Toronto's the Dallas of Canada. It is never their year. SRQ Tom. Are we talking about the Maple Leafs or are we talking about the Blue Jays? Who the F trades a good young starting pitcher for an older closer? Oh, that's why we were just talking about the whole thing with Griffin Jax and why I do believe that Griffin Jax will be that guy, that he's the next one up. Griffin Jax is that next guy who's going to be changed into a starting pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays. Nobody else has said it, but I'm saying it right here. And if I'm going to post it a little bit later, my whole explanation why I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm not going to go back and do it again, but the last couple of days and just watching that kid do what he can, I don't think that you keep him in the bullpen. I think they're going to continue to work guys out there and to be able to continue to get some arms to help out Pete Fairbanks. I mean, Fairbanks has been much better after the trade deadline. You would think like, oh, you should just deal with it. Just deal with it. You should be able to deal with some of the noise on the outside looking in about possibly getting traded, and it didn't happen. But I'm sure he feels a lot better about himself going forward. Another thing, talking about Christopher Morel, this is a guy that you were wondering, like, why didn't he get moved at the deadline? I think he didn't. I wonder if what happened with the injuries on that day had something to do with it, right? Losing Yandy on that day, losing Jonathan Aranda, having Chandler Simpson get banged up. I mean, does Christopher Morel get moved if those guys get hurt or don't get hurt? Maybe. Greg DeCruz, be nice to my Blue Jays ex-Torontonian. Is that the right word? Torontonian? I like that. A big thank you to Josh Queipo and Matt Grothe for joining us on the program today. A lot of good stuff. We got our friend Dave Kassasian from For the Bay joining us on the program tomorrow. A big announcement for them. Did you see this recent stuff with, it looks like Shedeur Sanders is going to start for the Cleveland Browns? Yeah, I think that's, a good thing for him. And now you're having all of these media guys out there saying, oh, they're setting him up to fail. So if he screws up, everybody's going to say, he's not ready. I mean, I think that's a bunch of shit, to be honest with you. I mean, now it's like, what do you think it is? It's a win-win situation for you because you're just going to paint the narrative. Because if Shedeur does good, now it's like, he deserves to get more reps in practice. And then if he doesn't do well, then it's like, well, he's not getting enough reps in practice. It's like, bro, he's the 4th-string quarterback. He's behind Kenny Pickett. He's behind Joe Flacco. He's behind Dylan Gabriel. I don't know. I don't see why, like, we're trying to get out in front of this narrative. Like, people don't want Shedeur. Like, if they didn't want Shedeur why would they draft him in the first place? I don't understand that. Yeah, let's draft him. Let's draft him so we can talk shit about him and make him feel terrible and bury him. Like, why? That doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense at all. All right, guys. Are you guys ready? Who's ready for these tickets? Who is ready for these tickets? We have 2 tickets to give away, courtesy of our friend over at Honest Hammer. I hope you guys are paying attention to the program. Okay. So it's 1:30. I told you I'd be giving away these tickets at 1:30, and eventually you're going to have to send me your email so I can send them over to you. Here's what you got to do. You got to make sure you're following me on social media, following the Honest Hammer on social media. I hope you guys have already done that. You also have to answer these 2 questions. And when you answer these 2 questions, you cannot type in your answer. So don't type in the answer because you're going to give it away. Okay? You have to answer these questions. And no, Chan, I have to knock you out of the studio. You can, you're not in the studio yet. I'm not accepting anybody in the studio quite yet. Okay? When I open it up, then you can come in. Here we go. And just let me make sure I have it here. Hold on. If you didn't hear Grothe, you should have turned up the volume. Okay, here's the 2 questions I have to answer. And again, you got to do it via the video platform. So you're on your phone, you're on your laptop. You can click on the link and you answer these 2 questions. Here's the 2 questions. 1, what did Matt Grothe say was the most impressive thing about USF that he hasn't said about USF in a very long time? What was the one thing that impressed Matt Grothe about USF football that he hasn't said in a long time? And that's going to help them moving forward. Something that other teams have that USF doesn't always have. Second question. Which Buccaneers player belly flopped into one of the skirmishes today? Which Buccaneers player belly flopped into one of the skirmishes today? Here is the link right here. Come on. StreamYard.com/BYFND2UVYN. There it is right there. Click on the link in the chat. Answer the question about USF. You can go back. Listen, if you can go back, turn up the volume and listen to what Matt Grothe said, you can do that as well. What is the one thing that Matt Grothe said impressed him the most about USF football that he hasn't seen in years? And who is the Buccaneers player that belly flopped into one of the skirmishes today? Again, hopefully you were listening. If not, if you're listening, go back. You can skim back and go back on the interviews. And if you can answer it, you can win a pair of tickets to the Buccaneers matchup with the Tennessee Titans Saturday night at Raymond James Stadium. And we will go from there. Click on the link. There it is right there. What impressed Matt Grothe the most about USF? Which Buccaneers player belly flopped into one of the skirmishes today? All right, let's say if you didn't hear the Matt Grothe thing, okay, we'll just take whoever answers the Buccaneers one, okay? Benny, we'll make it fair for everybody. Which Buccaneers player belly flopped into one of the skirmishes today? That was from our interview with Josh Queipo. There is the link. Click on the link in the chat. Which Buccaneers player belly flopped into one of the skirmishes today? If you can do that and answer that question, you win a pair of tickets to go see the Bucs and the Titans Saturday night at Raymond James Stadium, the preseason opener for our Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And if you win the tickets, make sure you can go to the game too. All right, come on. I'm waiting on you guys. Click on that link. Click on that link. What is Matt Grothe up to these days? He's joining us here on the Jay Recher podcast. That is what is going on. Come on. Click on the link. Not that hard. Right here. Which Buccaneers offensive lineman belly flopped into one of the skirmishes today? If you can answer that question, you can win a pair of tickets to the Buccaneers Titans preseason opener on Saturday night over at Raymond James. Just click on the link and join us, whether you're on the phone, whether you're on the laptop. Feel free to get in on the conversation. I know there's a little bit of a delay, but if you can get in there, come on, folks. I don't want to just pick a random person. Got to make you earn it on the program here. And, of course, you have to follow at Jay Recher and follow the Honest Hammer, the crew there. Click on the QR code right there. Scan them. And you can be the winner. All right. Oh my God, Michael Givens has got a big thing coming up here in the next couple of days too. Come on, folks. We got a bunch of people watching on Twitter and YouTube. Yeah, there you go. And Hammer saying, hope everyone sees as a Tampa native, I didn't want to sell my tickets to random fans and then not be Buccaneers fans. There you go. He wants to make sure that people that are Bucs fans are going to be in attendance at Raymond James Stadium. So if you are one of those people that want to go to that game, just tell me what Buccaneers offensive lineman belly flopped into one of the skirmishes today. StreamYard.com/BYFND2UVYN. Click on that link in the chat and you can win tickets to the game Saturday night. Good luck, everyone. Thanks, Jay. Thank you, Hammer. Our sponsor here on the program, the Jay Recher Podcast, Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC, 813-244-0956. Let's see. Chan, bring it in. Chan, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
Doing great, bro. Doing great.
Thank you. You got an answer for me?
Get a key.
Yeah. All right. Chan Leonard is the winner. Are you going to be able to come to the game?
Oh, you kidding me? I wouldn't miss it for the world. First off, I gotta get in touch with Honest Hammer and make sure that I show love and get some work done. But yeah, I was gonna come down anyway, and now this would be just icing on the top. It's great.
Beautiful. Chan, congratulations. And again, thank you so much for all the support over the last couple of months of me being here on the show. Send me in the private chat your email, and then I'll email those tickets over to you, okay? Just make sure you send me a screenshot that you get them, because obviously I'm a one-man band here, so everything's got to be on the up and up. I don't have any disclaimers or anything like that. So
of course, well, we got to do something about that. I can't wait for the podcast to get bigger so I can become your producer and make sure that you just have to be your effervescent self. But thank you. Thank the Honest Hammer for being his support of the podcast. And for them, we wouldn't be able to find it, and I couldn't wax intelligent to my friends about how dope you guys are.
Thank you, Chan. All right, I'm going to cut you off here, and then in the private chat, just send me your email, and then we'll go from there, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You got it, pal. Chan Leonard, all over it, man. What a great guy, and a big supporter of the show here on the Jay Recher Podcast. There you go. We're going to do some more ticket giveaways over the next couple of months, and then we'll go from there, because we're going to have Lightning tickets. We'll have some USF tickets, some Bucks tickets. So we'll just continue to keep this train rolling. I tell you what, I'm pretty happy that I got through today's show after not feeling good yesterday. I'm not, I don't have the voice of, I'm not the songbird of my generation, the voice of an angel today. If Chan is producer, can I be t-shirt content creator? Yes, Jeff, we're still looking for an idea for a t-shirt. I was thinking about like Tampa is tops or something like that. Because what I want to do is like Tampa something on the front and then the Jay Recher logo on the back. So even if people aren't they don't watch the show, right? Or they don't have any idea about the show, like that'll be a way, an entry to get into the show, because they'll like the Tampa shirt, right? So Sage Jr. I'll take it. I was just talking to our guy Eric Kaufman today. We're gonna get him on the program next week as well. We might get Steve. I'm gonna try to reach out to Steve from Joe Bucks Fan, get him on the program tomorrow as well. What a great show today, man! It's been so much fun chatting with you guys and just being here with you. Yeah, great stuff. Let me make sure I get a chance to. All right. Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right. Again, tomorrow on the program. No, you're good, man. I want to get t-shirts too. Don't get me wrong. A big thank you, as always, to our friends, Honest Hammer Custom Builders, 813-244-0956. There is the QR code right there. They're getting bigger and bigger. Tampa Bay sports fan, just like you. These are the kind of people that you want to trust for any of the renovations. Listen, residential, commercial, they can do whatever it takes to help you, man. Buccaneers football is back. We are very, very excited on the program. Again, Dave Gassasian joins us tomorrow from For the Bay. Big announcement for their company tomorrow. They always have a lot of great stuff going on. Big thank you to Matt Grothe for joining us on the program. Big thank you to Josh Queipo from Pewter Report for joining us on the program. And for you, make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I am everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Every single subscription helps Again, thank you to Honest Hammer. Thank you for the super chat again, Chan. You are the man. Back here today. I'll be back tomorrow, man. So let's finish the week strong. That's going to wrap it up for me. I'll see you tomorrow at noon right here on the Jay Recher podcast. I am gone. Peace out.